In the late 22nd century, humanity is beginning to colonize space. Before colony ships arrive, habitation vessels are appointed terraforming missions. The Aurora was one such vessel. During its descent, the Aurora was struck by a mysterious energy pulse, resulting in catastrophic hull failure. A single life pod jettisoned prior to impact. You were in that life pod.
Welcome to Subnautica. So, as it turns out, we're in the 22nd century, and I just crash landed onto this random planet, which is isn't exactly good. So I decided I was gonna take a little look outside and check out my surroundings. As you can see, we have my crashed ship, which hopefully I'll be able to salvage some parts at some point. I decided to take a look into the water, and we see some pretty interesting things. I found a Seamoth fragment, which will give me the blueprints I need to create a Seamoth to get around faster, but that seems to be a long ways from now. I also decided to collect these air sacs, which are vital for clean water, and scrap metal, which is vital for titanium. There's very dangerous things in the water that will injure you, and catching food is a main priority to keep your food and H2O up. I found these purple things that will give you air while you're underwater, so you don't have to come up to the surface every time to get more air. Also, while swimming around, I found acid mushrooms and these tunnels that you can swim through to possibly avoid predators. I also found limestone chunks that give me titanium and other elements. Once back into my escape pod, I was learning how to construct things with the elements I had picked out from underwater. One of these things that I found was an air bladder. These air bladders proved to be substantially useful for getting to the surface, so you do not drown. I also found that I needed to build a constructor to be able to build the vehicles I needed to get around. One of the vehicles that you can build with a constructor is a Seamoth. The Seamoth takes a lot of materials to build, and therefore it will be a long time before I can build it. After further exploration of this world, I found these things called floaters, which I could attach to scrap metal to float to the surface.
Readings from the Aurora show severe instability in the primary drive core. The central dark matter reactor will reach a supercritical state in T-minus 10, 9, urgency, 8, 10 seconds of oxygen 6, remaining, 5, 4, 3, 2.
After seeing this, I wasn't quite sure what to think of it. Will there still be things left for me to scavenge, or is it all just blown into smithereens? After a long time of collecting materials, I was finally able to build my first Seamoth. I was too excited not to take it for a ride. Unfortunately, my curiosity got the better of me. I took a deep journey without realizing how much battery power I'd wasted into the vast unknown. Without realizing it, and being miles away from my escape pod, my Seamoth ran out of battery. My only choice was to get out and swim. This concludes the first episode of Subnautica Diaries.